And a very pleasant good evening to you. I'm Charles Carter. It's a pleasure to welcome you to Bahamian Artists. I try to, every once in a while, give a story that is sometimes unbelievable to modern Bahamians about the beauty and the exotic nightlife that used to exist in our country 40 and 50 years ago. There was a great age of entertainment in the Bahamas when there were clubs that were open almost 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, where entertainment came from all around the world, and more importantly, Bahamians found their creative voices to be able to create the kind of entertainment that brought people into our country. Entertainment was what people used to come to the Bahamas for. Now they come for sun, sand, and sea. The entertainment still exists, but it's not as prominent as it used to be. And for a country of 350,000 people in the 21st century, it's amazing the number of Bahamian musicians and musicians who've been able to make an impression on the world. But there's been no impression made like the song Funky Nassau, and like the group, The Beginning of the End. It's a great story, and tonight, Ray Munnings, the architect of that story and that journey, will tell it to us. Ray, it's good to see you. You look like Showtime yourself.
When I saw the movie version of Blues Brothers 2000 with Dan Aykroyd and John Goodman, and of course Erykah Badu came in and did
She
singing
did her
at the end.
Funky Nassau, yes.
Listen, I said, well, hold on now. Why would they pick this song? They've got a million songs they could have done. Why would they choose this? I still haven't found that out. I've got to ask Paul Schaefer when I see him. I'm scheduled to maybe see him next month and find out why, because he arranged that version for the movie. Why would they have chosen that song? Because, you know, in that movie you had B.B. King, from B.B. King to Grover Washington. All those people were on stage. Aretha Franklin, Eddie Floyd. They had at least 60 major black artists, black and white,
yes,
in that movie. And the amazing thing, too, with that, one of my other favorite artists were Blood, Sweat, and Tears. The horn players playing along with them in the movie were the horn players from Blood, Sweat, and Tears. Steve Cropper, the guitarist he was playing on that set. That these musicians who I admired so much, and I said, well, and they really had fun. I mean, you can see in the movie,
yes,
playing that.
Yes.
So it again, why would they pick this song?
Well,
why? That is my question to each one of them when I meet them. I'm saying, why?
Well, what I like about the song, Ray, is the fact that Bahamians wrote it. Secondly, the world celebrates it. And what I find interesting about the song today, that young Bahamians don't know that you wrote it and Bahamians wrote it. And so when they get introduced to that song somewhere, maybe in college someplace, there's something in the back of them that says, I know that song, but they're really not sure how they know it. But, you know, Funky Nassau has been the most popular Bahamian song ever to hit international circles. It wasn't the first, because the first was incidentally and coincidentally written by your godfather.
Mr. Cash, yeah.
Mr. Cash, Eric Cash, the late Eric Cash, your godfather, wrote a song called Pretty Boy. Went down the road one morning.
Well, you know, Charles, too, we did a takeoff on that. Instead of Pretty Boy, we changed it to Hey Pretty Girl.
Yes.
And did almost a Santana bluesy feel to it.
Yeah.
And you'd be surprised on YouTube the amount of hits that these songs get. I mean, when I go up there and look at it, it really makes me feel proud to know that, like I said, the thing that makes me sad first is that the only song that Bahamians think is that Funky Nassau. When they hear Raphael Munnings or The Beginning of the End, only one song. We had 4 albums.
Yes.
3 with The Beginning of the End, and I had 2.
But it's a song that clearly registered with not only with Bahamians, but with the world. I mean, because, yes, I like other songs from your album, from the first album, better than that. I like Monkey Tambourine the best. I think Monkey Tambourine is the most unique song that came out of that particular period. Yeah, and I said it at that time, that was 40 years ago, and I say it again. And there were other great songs that you did as musicians, because one thing coming out of the Freddie Munnings School of Music at the Catchy Fiddle, you all learn to appreciate, the full gamut of music, from classic to jazz to calypso to pop. And your exposure in the music business was so unique at that time that you picked up all these strings, and you can almost, like language, play, in many different languages. But this one song is a song that people remember most from the Bahamas, even though, Johnny Camp's Just Got Paid came after it, the great songs done by the T Connection, all the songs done by the award-winning Bahamian and other Bahamians who have been on sets and created international history that we don't know in music. It's still Funky Nassau.
Well, like I said, the beast that wouldn't die. That's the original renaming of that song. And when I hear all the different versions, they've got a group out of London called the Juju Orchestra. Now, I don't know why they named themselves that either, but they did like a jazz interpretation of it, a Hammond organ and stuff.
Yeah.
That was the instrument that I played. And I really, really, really like every version that I hear. But like I said, when there's some up there that like local bands in Europe and stuff. You almost hold your air. It's terrible. When I say terrible, meaning like they changed it so much,
A lot of Bahamians, many Bahamians are just unaware of how deep and rich the musical history of the Bahamas is and how successful various Bahamians have been in music, locally and internationally. But we have a talent. We Bahamians have a talent for making song that goes back to Joseph Spence and all those old rhymers from the early part of the last century. Now, you have been in the music business all your life. You're born into it. What advice do you give to young people who aspire to be or to create a Funky Nassau, to create a legendary status in the world of music, as have the beginning and the end?
Well, the advice I would give first is that you got to make sure your material is copywritten. Make sure that it's more than just about sun, sea, and sun, the lyrics. And now there's just so much with the hip hop and all of the technology. You don't even have to be a musician anymore to record a song. You could record it in your bedroom and get a hit record.
Well, most of them are recorded in bedrooms nowadays. In a bedroom or bathrooms, or little,
I'm saying a little small studio,
or computer,
someplace. But the idea is to make sure that whatever you put it down, and don't be afraid to put it out. Let the public decide. You don't decide.
So they must know, though, the business of the business if they want to make something out of it.
Copywritten first, and the business side is because I hear a lot of good, and I'm very pleased. Like a young talent like Tada, who has taken it and realized that there's a business side as well as a performing side, and a lot of the young artists that I hear that's got material out there now sound very good. Supposed to be big, but it's just a matter that you can't rush it. It don't happen overnight. You got to work at it, put it out, make sure that when you put it out, you have you have all your ducks in a row. Everything is structured so that it's compatible.
Legally tight.
Yeah, no, not only that, but whatever's playing on the radio, that's your competition, not just you're thinking about what's playing here in the Bahamas. You're thinking the world.
Yes.
You're looking at Billboard charts. You're looking at Record World. Not Record World, I think they're gone
Yes.
now. But
Billboard's gone too.
Whoever, well, the industry has changed so much.
Yes.
You hardly can't sell CDs now unless you sell 1.99 CD from iTunes.
Yes.
It's like people just don't. It's just too easy to duplicate.
Yes.
But the idea is that anytime you're going to make money from the industry now in the 21st century, you got to be looking at performance. A lot of the local groups that I hear.
So you're saying
performing,
performance. So
that is what is important.
So in making money in the music industry, are you better off being a writer or performer?
Not to that question. Well, you need both to make it happen. The writers have more longevity because if you wrote the song and that's
You
gonna,
get more from writing a song and
I wouldn't say
owning
more.
it
No, I wouldn't say
than
more,
performing it.
but longevity, because you got your lifetime plus 75 years. If you're a performer, say like one of the older ones, Frank Sinatra or something, when you have passed away, that's it. I mean, but you can't perform anymore. Now other people can perform your material, but that's the end. You have reached the beginning of the end. You've gone through the full
Bahamians
circle.
have done exceptionally well in music when you think of being such a small country.
But it's
When you
hard
think also,
it's hard to make money from locally
yeah,
with it.
it's hard to make money locally, and that's my next point. I mean, to look beyond the shores of the Bahamas. There are no more nightclubs, there's no more cat and fiddle here in Nassau, but a talented man like King Erison and other Bahamian sidemen and bands who've been able to find a niche and find a place have been able to live for decades performing.
That's what I'm saying now. If you're performing, that is where you're able to get a paycheck every week or every month. But if you're gonna be in the Bahamas, that can't happen anymore. It used to happen, and 40 years ago or 30 years ago, it started to have a decline. I mean, you'd have like the Trade Winds Lounge, you'd have a big Koyaba Room, Le Cabaret Theater, and you could perform in those places, but that's no more. I mean, that went out the window 30 years ago. Once was Resorts International moved to Atlantic City, that it stopped right at that point.
Well, Ray,
In late 80s.
this is a wonderful interview in the sense that it recorded a wonderful history of performance, and especially the beginning of the end and what Funky Nassau has done for the country. And I think we'll leave it there for now, because obviously we're going to have to move on to a new way of looking at entertainment in the future. And who knows, a new group and another Ray Munnings will find a way for making a real impact on the world again. I want to thank you for being here tonight.
Well, Charles, thank you for having me again. And like I said the last time, this is so short. We just getting warmed up. But I do appreciate it. And like I say, my advice is keep writing.
Yeah.
Keep your ideas fresh. And keep thinking not only local. I mean, you need some of that too. I mean, I love some of the material, Dog Don't Bark at Parker. I mean, these are good tunes. But you need also to think of how we're going to get the music out of the country into the world, exposed.
Well, stay local, think global. Ray Munnings, I'm Charles Carter. Have a good evening.